Oh.
You could fade out next time.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, dang it. You want to do it again? Do it one more time?
Do it one more time?
Yeah. All right, you ready? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Just These Guys. You know.
We are here in the studio. We got Mike on the mic. Got the shrink in the house and the pastor. Today's topic.
Exposing the truth about Patrick Mahomes. Not just hair, attitude.
And we're going to discuss why he wins as we film in the studio today.
Man, what an amazing day it is. Right here, celebrating once again. I like the way Mitch Holtis says it. He says, you can dislike the Chiefs. You can despise the Chiefs. You can deny the Chiefs, but you cannot. No, he says, but you will have to deal with the Chiefs. I almost had it.
Yeah, right there on the cusp.
So close.
Today, why Patrick Mahome wins and keeps winning, why he's a road king warrior, why he's a Super Bowl champ.
We are in special times, and I really do have a little bit of empathy for people who don't like the Chiefs, who don't appreciate Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, we all should appreciate what's going on.
Well, and that's what I wanted to talk about today was why he wins, his attitude that he has. And that's an attitude, whether you like him or not, that's an attitude that we can all benefit from and learn from.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. So I wanted to reveal some of his attitude through some of his quotes, and then we'll talk about the attitude and where that all comes from.
Yeah, he's just simply a winner.
So I pulled up these quotes from Patrick Mahomes. As you hear the quotes, tell me if any of it sounds familiar.
Okay.
Basically, when talking about having a bad play on the field, Patrick Mahomes said, you can always regret just missing it, but as a football player, you have to move on to the next play.
Got to have the shortest memory possible. You hear that a lot from, baseball players.
Sure.
They'll strike out.
Sure.
They immediately have to forget it. Walk back to the dugout and forget it for the next time up. You just have to have that short memory. You can't dwell on it.
So,
which is a beautiful life lesson.
The past.
Yep.
We have to stay out of the past.
It's done.
It's done.
Can't control it.
Can't control it.
That's
Next
a cool quote.
I just try to learn from every mistake so that I may never make them again.
Now, that is not in the moment, but coming back around to it, it is important for us to review
the past.
Yes. So that we can learn from
the past. Oh, to learn from it.
Right.
So in the present, we study the past to learn from it so that we make different decisions in the future.
I think that's the idea.
Now, people may not believe this basically because of the hat you're wearing today, but you were a quarterback.
I was.
You were a quarterback in high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
What Patrick Mahomes does, that mental attitude that he has that allows him to be so successful and magical on the field, do you recognize those qualities? Do you see what's happening that other people just watching the game don't?
Well, what I'm amazed at, mostly watching him as a quarterback, is just how in control he is of what he controls. And how he is, you never really see him rattled. Mm-hmm. He can have all the pressure coming on him from the defense and get knocked down and everything. And you see most NFL quarterbacks are this way, but he's another level of under control.
Oh, yeah.
And so that allows him to see things and see, I love the fact that this year, one of the things he did not control was how many times his receivers dropped the ball. And so all of us out in the peanut gallery are screaming about how they ought to get rid of those receivers, get rid of those guys, they're terrible. And all Patrick continued to say all year long was, I'm just going to continue to throw the ball at him. I'm just going to continue to get him the ball.
That's what he controls.
That's what he controls.
Sure.
I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, and they're going to figure it out. They're gonna catch it when it's like the greater the pressure, the greater the performance, the greater the challenge, the greater he gets. It's just amazing.
Boom.
Yeah, he's so good.
No one really sees pro athletes behind the scenes. They don't know how hard they work. They don't see how you work on the basics.
Yeah. There's a video, actually, because this isn't just about Mahomes. This is about the incredible team that is there.
Sure.
But I love this video. There's a video of Jason and Travis Kelce, and they're having a moment at the end of the game this last Sunday. And Jason is telling Travis in his ear, I know how hard you worked on this. People don't know how hard this is. I know everything that it takes, and I'm so proud of you.
Wow.
It was cool to be able to, I mean, we were eavesdropping on a private moment, but it was really cool because that's what he was saying. He was saying, people don't know just how hard this is and everything that goes into the behind the scenes. And so it's really an incredible thing to observe.
Well, and that's what gets me is people watch these athletes. They watch the football players and Mahomes, and they're envious of him. They're jealous of him, and but to be doing what he's doing, he is every single day. He is working on fundamentals, basics, stance, lifting weights, studying film, 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. He is working on his professional, craft.
Yeah.
How much time do we spend a day working on ourselves?
Yeah.
We
Not
wonder
that much.
why, we're having such a hard time in our life and why things are never going well and why we're always surprised by things and things catch us off guard. And how much the athlete spends in a lifetime, day in, day out, off season, during the season, working for that 1 3-hour moment on the weekend. How much time do we invest in studying the Bible?
Sure.
How much time do we invest in improving ourself?
Yeah.
That's the reason why we have the results we have.
Yeah. Well, and it's also the biggest reason that they get to, their mid-30s and their body can't keep up anymore. And they're emotionally wrecked because they have literally spent their lifetime, their adult up to the moment, working so focused and hard on this craft. And so their identity now has to shift.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many things that we can work on that we don't have to imagine it ever stopping. And like you say, working on ourselves when it comes to our spiritual self. And this is all the way into eternity.
Many of the successful athletes go on to have successful careers in other areas. J.J. Watts.
True.
They make that shift, like you said, in identity. And when they're Bill Cowher, they talk about these NFL players who are now doing the commentary and the news reporting and stuff. They talk about behind the scenes, they're working just as hard on being a good public speaker, being a good color commentator, Tony Romo. They're studying film. They're working just as hard on that new craft as they were on their football craft. They bring this attitude that Patrick Mahomes has. They bring this attitude over into their next field.
Yep.
And it is not the fact that they were a great football player that defines them. It is that attitude that defines them, because now they, the Bell brothers with their carpet stores here in town, they're doing very well. And I've had people who met them and talked to them, and they've just got great attitudes. They're infectious to be around. Their son, Blake Bell.
Oh, yeah.
OU quarterback.
Yep.
Now plays for the Chiefs as a tight end.
Chiefs. Yep.
Shift in attitude. What can I do for the team? It's so this attitude that Patrick Mahomes has, he epitomizes it to the nth degree, and he always wins. Always wins. He always wins because of the attitude.
Yeah.
And that is something we can all learn from and have.
Yeah.
We can all be winners all the time.
Yeah. I've mentioned several times on Sundays how as a Christ follower, we actually are walking in victory formation.
Sure.
And so the last couple of games, we've been able to see the Chiefs in victory formation. It is the best position to be in. And so what that does, if we will grab a hold of that, and it's a reality.
Yeah.
That we have victory. In Christ, we have victory. And if we grab a hold of that, it changes every day because every day we get up expecting victory.
Well, for the Chiefs at the end, towards the end of the game, the game is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
The game is still going on, but they know they have won.
Yep.
And so they assume the victory formation to ride out the clock until the end of the game. And that's what you're saying is in life, we know we have won.
Right.
That at the end, Jesus comes back, defeats Satan, heaven's established on earth. We have won. He has overcome.
Yep.
It is up to us to just ride out the game in the victory formation, knowing we have won.
Yeah, that's really good.
Another quote. I feel like sometimes if things go wrong, I have the confidence in myself and my team that will fix it. Again, there are no problems.
Yep.
There's only solutions.
Yep.
Something's not going the way we planned. How do we fix it?
Right.
He focuses on what he can control.
Yep.
Not the problem, the solution.
Yeah. The possibility and not the pitfall.
And everybody expects life to go perfect with no ups and downs. And when life doesn't go perfectly, they complain and waller and cry and moan and spend time and time and time in that problem rather than fixing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't cry over spilt milk.
Right.
Spill something, clean it up.
Yep.
You win. You win.
Yeah. Well, where's your focus?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's all coming through this attitude of Patrick Mahomes. Another quote, every experience, good or bad, you have to learn from. And you were talking about that earlier, that after the game, no matter what the experience was, you sit down, you study film, you learn from each of those events. And so life is not wasted. Even if you went through some of the most horrendous things, there is something in the present we can learn from that past so that we can then turn around and make tomorrow better.
100%.
That was a mic drop moment there. And then the final quote by Patrick Mahomes. And this one is not a stretch. It's just cryptic. It's like what do you call it? What did Jesus speak in?
Parables.
Parables, I said. You can't have a good Thanksgiving meal without a little bit of ketchup on the side. How does that reflect his attitude?
Well, to me, what that says is it ain't socially normal to put ketchup on your Thanksgiving plate, but it's what I want.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah.
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 It's what I want.
What he wants.
Yeah.
He is defining success.
Mm-hmm.
What is a good Thanksgiving meal? Got a little ketchup on the side.
Heck yeah.
This is how he wins, is he's always defining success. He never focuses on a failure. Failure does not define him. If something doesn't go the way he planned, he studies it, he learns from it, and he changes so that he can not make the same mistake again so that it can go better next time. And all that film prep, all that time he spent studying his own craft away from the spotlight allows him to go out there and on the fly adapt.
Mm-hmm.
He can't control what the other team is doing.
Sure.
But he can read and respond. He can't control if the receivers are catching the ball or not, but he can keep chucking it to them.
That's right.
So he focuses on what he controls, and he digs in and makes himself the best he can be every second of every day.
Yeah.
And that is the secret. That is why he wins. We're exposing his attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He is a winner because he makes himself a winner. And there's everything about what he does in terms of his attitude that we can do.
Oh, absolutely.
We can be a winner. We can have that infectious personality that when somebody's talking to you, they can light up, they can feel good just having talked to you, much like people feel after they hear from Patrick Mahomes in an interview or a press conference. They just walk away smiling.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the old Michael Jordan, I want to be like Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
You listen to Patrick talk and you just like feel good.
Yeah.
Because of his winning attitude. His attitude is infectious.
Yep.
And we can have that exact same attitude.
Yeah, big time. I think what we're going to hear after this season Because this is a winning organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't go to the Super Bowl 4 years out of 5 unless it's a organization that has a winning attitude. And one of the things that we're going to hear is that about 3/4 of the way through the season, they made some pretty significant shifts in how they were going about mostly their offense.
Well, again, focusing on what they control.
Right.
They evaluated themselves. They looked at their strengths. They forgot about last year. They didn't try to force this team to be the same as last year's team or the year before, where they're just throwing the ball 70 yards down the field every play. They looked at themselves. They looked at their strengths and said, we've got great running backs and we've got a great offensive line. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And rely on our defense to keep the game close, and we will wear them down with. And so the whole football scheme, the whole football game plan is only possible when they step back and focus on what they control. This is not new. I mean, this is the shame of it. I study athletes trying to figure out what makes them tick, what makes them great. How can they do things when, yeah, they have a little bit of athletic ability that most of us don't have. Not all of them, though. Not all of them have the same, extreme athletic abilities as somebody like Patrick Mahomes, but they still excel at what they do. And one of the key things they're always doing is they're forgetting the past, focusing on the present, trying to be better tomorrow.
Right.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I caught wind of that somewhere. Maybe in 12:2.
Well, 12:2, but also
that comes straight from Scripture.
When I worked with drug rehab, and before and after every meeting,
sure,
they would quote the Serenity Prayer.
Yep.
And then immediately violate it. And the Serenity Prayer was written by Reinhold Niebuhr in 1932. And it's longer than what most people know, what most people quote. But the most famous part of it is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Who?
And
right there.
That is the challenge. How do I know the difference between what I can't control and what I can control? Now, when you listen to Patrick in a press conference, when you hear his quotes, you start to get it, that he's embodying that attitude of, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Okay, the defense is doing this, the defense is doing that. Our receivers are new, they're young. I can't control that.
Right.
Courage to change the things I can. Do we have the courage to change the game plan, to go from a passing team to a running team, to keep chucking the ball at them until they figure it out? Do we have the courage to control the things we can? It goes back even further. Proverbs 25:28. A man without self-control is like a city whose walls have been torn down and left bare.
Yeah.
When a city's walls have been torn down, they're vulnerable to attack from the outside. So how does a city defend itself? Build the walls. How do we defend ourselves? Self-control.
Yep.
The world, and by the world, I mean every single one of you out there, focus on the other person. Mom, he touched me. Mom, he's calling me names. I'm saying mom, but that's every person ever lived.
Yeah.
We get mad in the bar because somebody looked at us. He's looking at me over there. We don't control other people. We don't control what they think, do, or feel. But here we go, taking off, getting in fights, getting upset, getting mad over things we have no control over.
Yep.
And that makes us vulnerable. If we develop self-control, then we become safe. We become protected. We become invulnerable. Nothing can get to us if we have self-control.
Yeah, which is power.
Boom.
We spend too much time focusing on what we don't control, and we completely forget about what we do control.
Have we heard this on the podcast anywhere before? In the book 12:2, How to Transform Your Mind, we talk about fundamental number 1.
Yep.
And fundamental number 1, to change your mind, to transform, to begin to think differently. Step 1 is recognize, come to believe and understand there are things in this world you cannot control, and there are things in this world you can control. I can't change what other people think, do, or feel. So when I'm camped out there, I am wasting every bit of energy that I was given, spending it trying to control things I can't control.
Yeah. You're giving away your power.
Sure.
It is amazing because I feel confident that I'm starting to get this. Starting to get it. So there's all kinds of opportunity out ahead. But you can watch, you can observe the difference between someone who is filled with peace and someone who is not. And the difference is in what they're trying to control.
Sure. So hopefully for the viewer, for the listener today, we have exposed Patrick Mahomes' attitude, the truth about it.
The truth about his attitude that leads him to victory.
Now, how would you like to develop the same exact attitude as Patrick Mahomes?
I think it'd be a great idea.
And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video. So tune in, come back.
A little bonus?
A little bonus we got coming up.
All right.
Woo! I am Lance.
And I'm Mike.
We're just these guys.
I don't know how he does it with his hair. This has been really itchy.
It's hard to watch it like that,